Hello and welcome to The Reload, your weekly recap of all of the gaming news over the last 7 days, and a quick look at what's coming up over the next week. I am of course Carl, and this is a really jam-packed episode, so let's get on with it. Here's what happened. It was only a few weeks ago that Digital Homicide were threatening to sue over 100 Steam customers over abuse and slander, but it appears those plans are now well and truly derailed. According to reports from TechRaptor, the developers have halted their legal battle as they no longer have enough money to follow through. Follow through. The latest news on the situation states that Digital Homicide are currently trying to get their case dismissed without prejudice, which would recoup the fees that they've spent up until this point. Hopefully this means this entire situation is now well and truly over, and we can get back to not paying attention to them at all because their games look absolutely goddamn awful. As promised earlier this year, Respawn have announced the first of their free post-launch content for Titanfall 2. Pilots and Titans alike will be returning to Angel City, one of the more popular maps from the first game. It will be available to everyone in December, but those who pre-order any version of Titanfall 2 ahead of launch will get a 3-day head start on the map. In MMORPG news, it's great news for Blizzard and World of Warcraft. A Reddit user spotted an interview in Polish magazine Pixel with game director Tom Chilton, in which he states that the current subscriber levels for the game are at around 10.1 million. It's not quite the highs of the 12 million during the peak of the glorious Wrath of the Lich King expansion, but it's proof that Legion really is a return to form for the online behemoth. Which is really confusing because according to the internet, MMORPGs are dead and nobody plays them anymore and has no time for them, and, World of Warcraft's going free to play next week, so it's confusing. As if the drama over No Man's Sky couldn't get any more ridiculous, last week the official Reddit for the game was closed by the head moderator, and then reopened within a day. The whole ruckus began after moderator Rogue Wolf closed the forum because he felt it had become a hate-filled waste hole with no actual discussion. This left 150,000 subscribers without a place to talk. Well, I say talk, I mean scream with rage. About the current condition of the game, which of course didn't go down well. After a number of hours where new subreddits appeared filled with criticism over the move, the original Reddit was reopened. In a statement, new head moderator Sporkicide explained that he was appreciative of Rogue Wolf's contributions during a difficult time, and that normal services would resume, which I assume is just more screaming with rage. So it's no longer a fantasy. The Beyond Good and Evil sequel has finally become a reality as of last week, as Ubisoft confirmed that the game is indeed in the early stages of production. Creator Michael Ansel celebrated the news by posting another concept art piece on his Instagram, this time of a humanoid rhino type thing. I know I made the joke last week, but we are now actually in reality where Beyond Good and Evil 2 might actually come out before Half-Life 3. So Valve, are you going to take that line down? Are you? The year of greasy release dates continues to strike, and once again it's a PlayStation 4 exclusive. In a post on the PlayStation blog, it was announced that Gravity Rush 2 will now launch on the 20th of January. As way of an apology to fans, the planned premium DLC will now be released free of charge, meaning there'll be even more content when the game arrives next year. After all the fuss that PS4 gamers wouldn't get the promised feature, Bethesda have announced that Fallout 4 and Skyrim Legendary Edition will be getting mods. The blog post on the Bethesda website also confirmed that both titles will eventually support the PlayStation 4 Pro, with 4K visuals coming to Skyrim at launch and coming to Fallout 4 after that. It's a great reminder that well-timed PR releases and a bit of peer pressure really can get the job done. Speaking of The Elder Scrolls Online has received its 1 Tamriel update on PC. It brings scaled content to everything in the game, meaning players of all levels can explore the zones of Tamriel in any order, and lifts restrictions on alliances outside of PvP, which should shorten the wait time to experience the revamped dungeons. But that's not all. To celebrate, Bethesda have kicked off a competition to award a once-in-a-lifetime trip to one of 5 real-life locations that have inspired the Elder Scrolls universe. All you need to do is log into the game and play between now and December 16th to submit your entry. Or you could go old school and mail in a postcard. Further details for the competition and the 1 Tamriel update can be found over on the Elder Scrolls Online website. In the world of development news, game director Amy Hennig spoke out on the unhealthy working conditions in games development. She made the comments during an interview with the Designer Notes podcast over on Idle Thumbs, detailing how the infamous crunch has affected the personal life of herself and other developers at Naughty Dog during her 10-year stint at the company, especially whilst making Uncharted 3. While she did state that she wouldn't have changed anything with her time at the studio, she did warn that something's got to give, with the system that stops parents from seeing their kids grow up. Dear God, seriously, like, between this and just ridiculous outbursts online based on public opinion, like, well, why would anybody make games? I mean, seriously, what? Ooh, that actually gives me an idea for a game. Right, overstressed office worker, giant bees. And finally, the game may be getting a mixed early reception right now, but publisher 2K did something pretty neat to celebrate the release of Mafia 3 last Friday. Collaborating with Timber Yard Coffee Shop in London, the event saw British actor and former footballer Vinnie Jones act as a barista while serving up a type of Americano that uses a gunpowder-like ingredient. If that isn't crazy enough, they were charging just 10 pence a cup, matching the price of the 1960s in a depressing reminder of the effects of inflation. Oh well, at least we'll have memories of the good old days. And of course, you can find links for all of those topics by heading over to Digital Outburst. Just click on the link in the description box below if anything has piqued your interest. But now it's time to get on with a really jam-packed release schedule, so let's have a look at what's coming up over the next week. It's once again time for the chest-high walls and chainsaw executions as Gears of War 4 releases this week. The main campaign follows JD Phoenix this time around as humanity faces off against a new threat. Multiplayer action and revamped Horde mode also feature in what critics are calling a safe yet highly enjoyable shooter. Meanwhile, PlayStation gamers will finally get hands-on with Rise of the Tomb Raider, which was well received by Xbox and PC gamers last year. Along with the main game, you'll also get all of the DLC and a new Horde-style multiplayer mode. If you're more into your SmackDowns, the latest WWE 2K title hits most platforms this week. While the Creator Wrestler Suite and My Universe modes have had a serious revamp, it's the My Career mode that's the big talking point this year, allowing you to do promos, brawl backstage, and make a huge mistake by annoying Brock Lesnar. Despite having a terrible ending, or a lack of one depending on how you feel, there's no denying on how great the gameplay is in Metal Gear Solid 5. The definitive experience brings both Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain together in one neat package, making it a great chance to catch up on Big Boss's swan song if you skipped it last year. Also out this week is Dragon Quest Builders, which has surprised critics by being a solid title instead of a shameless Minecraft clone. With a campaign that is reportedly as long as most Dragon Quest games, it could be something to fill the current JRPG void. Of course, the most high-profile release this week is the PlayStation VR. While you'll need a pair of PlayStation Move controllers to get the most out of the new setup, the hardware and its launch titles have been well received by the press over the last few days. This includes Battlezone, the VR reboot of the wireframe tank battle game that's been brought back to life by Rebellion. Its 4-player drop-in co-op for the procedurally generated campaign has been warmly received, but critics are hoping that it's the multiplayer modes that will be the reason to keep players coming back when the servers do turn on next week. As for freebies, we kick off this week with a quick mention for those with a PlayStation VR and a copy of Star Wars Battlefront, who will gain access to an exclusive VR mission where they pilot an X-Wing and blow up the Death Star. Basically, if that applies to you, get on it immediately. If you're looking for a quick scare, then the Outlast 2 demo should be your port of call. It's only available digitally until the end of the month, so be sure to grab it if you want to get into the Halloween spirit. Finally, the Ubi 30 campaign continues, with October's game being the cult classic Beyond Good and Evil. As always, just log into the Club Ubisoft or into Uplay to claim your free copy on PC. And that's it for this week's episode. Of course, if you've got any feedback, do let us know in the comments either on YouTube or over on Digital Outburst. And do stay tuned to the site because, yes, the review for World of Warcraft Legion will actually be hitting this week. Ended up being a lot bigger than I was expecting. So, yes, do be sure to stay tuned for that. But that's it for this week. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.